Hello, everyone. I know this is really short notice, and that I was going to do a pre-recorded video for the actual review of this movie, but I was trying to work that out, timing and circumstance this weekend. It was my mom's birthday. It was Father's Day today. I don't know when I'm going to have a chance to do an actual pre-recorded video, so I figured I'd just do a live stream. Let me fix my camera real quick. Do a live stream real quick, talking about this movie. I know, again, I just put this out on Twitter. Hey, Joker Voice, I see you in the chat. Thanks, buddy. I put this together extremely fast, so I know a lot of people probably aren't even in here yet, or will be in here. I know it's a busy day. It's Father's Day. I just wanted to get this out quickly and talk about this movie. So the Justice League, sorry, Jesus, Snyderverse on my brain. The Flash is an experience. The Flash is something different. I actually was really hoping that this movie would go well. Unfortunately, did not go the way I thought. So this is the second to last movie in the Snyderverse version of this group. So I think Aquaman is the last. Hey, Joshua, how you doing, buddy? No, you're good, dude. I put this together really fast. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, man. Celebrate your Father's Day. If you want to check out the playback, it's not going to be a long video at all. But thank you for stopping by real quick. So anyway, wanted to just do this quick thing, and I might put this back up on my pre-recorded channel. My synopsis of this. Here's the problem I had with this movie. So basically, if you want to go step by step with this, there will be some spoilers, unfortunately. If you don't, what up, Bagface? There's going to be some spoilers on this. If you do not want to hear the spoiler parts, again, I will not make this a long video. I'll kind of do what Left Eye Ego did the other day and do like a quick assertion of this movie. Just go step by step. I actually will say that the movie started off okay. Yeah, diarrhea is an experience. This shit was on that experience. Yeah. Hey, how you doing there, buddy? Appreciate you dropping in. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring you people up in the chat real quick. Dude, yeah, diarrhea is an experience. Hey, thank you for everybody for dropping. Yeah, basically what it is. Here we go. So the movie starts out actually okay. For the first few minutes, you get this funny little scene with Barry Allen, and he's going into a barista shop, and you're learning about his ability to, he needs to replenish his energy because using the Speed Force uses his energy up. So, of course, he gets this annoying person behind the counter who just asking him stupid question. It's not the normal person who makes his food for him. So you get this drawn out kind of comedy thing, sketch of like, the guy's asking questions. Why do you need it this way? You can't rush a sandwich. And in the meantime, Alfred, who's played by Jeremy Irons, Alfred goes in, calls him up on the phone, basically says, hey, I need you at this thing in Gotham because Diana's not answering her phone, who's Wonder Woman, of course. Superman's on the TV helping save people from a volcano. Cyborg's nowhere. So, of course, Barry Allen's the only one who can help him. And, yeah, the baby. Yeah, the CGI baby. Hey, Angry Mexico. So what happens here is that, yeah, it looked bad. It was really bad. So what happened here in this beginning scene wasn't terrible. The comedy kind of worked. And the funny part is that he basically, while the guy's making his sandwich, he's the Flash, right? So he can use the Speed Force, slow things down, goes outside, and there's a group of young girls out there like, oh, we love you, Flash. You're our favorite. And I'm just laughing my ass off thinking of Ezra Miller himself and what he's been through and how he's beat abused women, thrown them to the ground on video. And all I'm seeing in my head is the Flash going over there and just drop kicking these women. I started laughing out loud in the movie theater. It was pretty goddamn funny. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it was mesmerizing. You got to be kidding me. So basically at this point, the Flash goes to Gotham City. Oh, God, this fucking scene. We get a cool introduction to Batman. You get a cool introduction to Batfleck here. I'm not a big Batfleck fan, as you can tell from our past movie streams that we've done on here. But he actually was a cool introduction. I love the old school suit design that he's wearing. I don't know if people in the chat noticed that. Of course, they did probably. The blue and gray. Love the design. I love that suit. It's one of my favorite designs of the bat suit. you get a cool scene of him coming out of the Batwing. He's chasing these criminals down. And as this is happening, there's a hospital where this villain stole a virus, if I'm not mistaken. Joker, maybe you can back me up on that. He stole a virus that can wipe out millions of people in Gotham City. So he's basically has to go and save them. So while he's chasing them down, Barry Allen's at the hospital and things are happening. The ground's collapsing. He's saving people. He's stopping electrical fires underground. And at that point, this is where the hospital collapses and the baby scene comes. And we'll get into that in a second. Yeah, it was bad. Ben Affleck is the most comic accurate person we've got. Hey, listen, you could say that. I don't love him as Batman, but sure. Yeah. Hey, that's fine. That's fine. It's a weapon. It's a stolen biological weapon virus, right? So while he's doing his thing as Batman, Alfred is basically telling the Flash, hey, the building's about to collapse. And so you see these the baby wing of the hospital is coming down. And you get this weird fucking scene of the babies flying out of the building with a nurse and a dog. I guess it's like a security dog. This scene, whatever this movie had going for it at this point, this scene took me completely out of it. It was the stupidest idea I can think of in a superhero movie to show a superhero putting their powers on display and actually saving babies flying out of windows. I understand the stakes they were trying to build up here, the drama, it just did not work. The CGI baby faces, oh my God, were so bad. And I mean bad. This is a $300-something plus million production, reshoots, all these direct. Oh my God. It took me out of the movie. I was actually laughing. People in the movie theater were laughing. It was comical. The guy next to me was telling his wife, what the hell is this? He literally was like, what is going on here? So the problem, hey, what's up, John Douglas? The problem here is that the Flash cannot, you learn this later in the movie, but the Flash cannot touch human beings. Given the energy that he uses, it'll either make people sick or he could potentially kill people. So he's got to maneuver the babies in a way to save them all at once. And then Quicksilver from X-Men ripoff, seeing exactly what it was. That's exactly Joker. So again, these are spoilers. I'm going to give spoilers for this because it's Sunday by now, and most people who want to see this movie have seen it. If you don't want to see it, you don't care, I'm going to give you everything. So basically, instead of saving the babies directly, he goes to a vending machine, eats all these snacks, and he has like a meter on his arm that tells him his energy levels. And he goes back up to normal. So the Speed Force, when he has low energy, speeds up faster. So when he has his full energy, it slows down. So he can't touch the babies, but he's got to maneuver things around. So there's like a metal rod that fell from the building that's about to spear a baby. There's fire. He uses a bedpan to knock away shit. It's like, what the fuck is this? Terrible scene. So he gets a gurney and he saves the babies. But by the way, though, he put a baby in a microwave. Now, there's a lot of people who have problems with this, who literally are not going to see the movie because of that scene. Besides it just being a stupid decision, it was just a dumb scene. There's better ways to display people's power than by actually doing something like this. We understand he's fast, his energy production, we get all this, but to have babies fall and then just to have it look so bad. Yeah, $400 million production, $150 million market, $550 million total, and it's opening. It's about $70 million for the first weekend, at least domestically, is what I'm hearing. A disaster. This movie is a fucking disaster. Yeah, Barry 1, Barry 2. We'll get to that. The baby burrito in 30. It was, and then he saves all the babies and the nurse. And then you hear the microwave ding, and while he's pulling the baby out, the fucking CGI faces on those kids were terrible. It was a dumb scene. And here's the funny part. Ezra Miller has a scene here where he actually tells the nurse, who's upset and frantic, obviously, right, naturally, hey, in these traumatic situations, it's best to seek the help of mental health professionals. And I'm literally laughing out loud because this is Ezra Miller. And I'm trying to put the Ezra Miller stuff to the side. I'm trying to really... like, hey, I'm gonna try my best to not think this is just Ezra Miller. I don't like his character in this. I think he's a terrible Flash. He's obnoxious. He's annoying. And then you get two of him in this movie. Awful. But anyway, it was just a bad scene. I made it. Hey, thanks, Glenn. Appreciate you, buddy. I have notes, by the way. I was going to do a pre-recorded video on this. It just wasn't working. I've been up since 6 a.m. my time trying to get this stupid camera to work. I'm having technical issues. And YouTube is being a pain in the ass with the review striking down a lot of footage. I'm just like, let me just do a live stream. Just do a live stream. Yeah, he has the right to say rights to bring it all to the forefront. Right. We have to apologize for the Twilight, for the CGI backlash. Makes you wonder how bad the Batgirl movie was for. Yeah, Batman. The Batgirl movie was probably a disaster, honestly. So basically, at this point, you get some of the backstory for Barry Allen now. You get how he's trying to, he works at a forensics place for case file forensic place. He's always late. He has this typical superhero trope, right? Like they did with Spider-Man, you know, in Tobey Maguire's movies. Like he's always late. He's got potential, but he's never around because he's a superhero, blah, blah, blah. His boss is on his ass all the time. So anyway, hey, Hunty, how you doing? Yeah, nothing wanted to work this morning. I've been up for 2.5 hours trying to do a pre-recorded video for my other channel. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm just going to do a movie review live stream and move the clip over to my other channel because this is not working for me. So yeah, so basically you get the scene where he gets a flash. He wants, you get Iris West comes in. I hate this character in this movie, in these movies, because she was only really introduced into the Snyder cut of Justice League movie. And then they try to shoehorn her in here. They have no chemistry together. Her and Ezra Miller, they have no chemistry. There's no fire here. I don't care about this character because it wasn't introduced prior. Hey, Dempsey, thank you, buddy. Thank you for the Father's Day wishes. I appreciate you, man. Like I said, I won't keep everybody long. This will be hopefully a quick stream. I just want to go over the movie real quick. This is my movie review. Yeah, race swapped Iris West, which, okay, fine. But just in general, it's just a character that just doesn't mean anything to anybody because she wasn't in any movies before. Again, a mess of the Snyderverse. So you get this part, and Joker can attest to this. He's in the chat. He saw this yesterday, where you get this flashback scene where he's talking to his dad basically on the phone. And then the dad's trying to appeal his case because, you know, the whole point of the story here is that the dad was accused of killing Barry Allen's mom. And obviously Barry Allen saw his mom die. And then Barry Allen's dad went to the grocery store to get tomatoes and a tomato can. And when he came back, it is a whole fucking story here. So the bottom line is that they have a flashback of Barry Allen as a kid with his mom. And Barry Allen's a super genius. And there's some foreshadowing here where the mom is like trying to help Barry Allen learn a lesson here about telling him not every problem has a solution. You know, he's like, well, this is too easy for me, this homework. And she's like, yeah, but you know, we know you're smart. We know you're good at this. Not every problem has a solution. You get some nice mom son moments here where at least I will say one thing. There is some character development here. Finally, you're getting something. Where in other Snyderverse movies, you really don't get much character development. Man of Steel really tried, but failed. Batman vs. Superman had no character development. Justice League, his version of it, had some with Cyborg, he was just a pain in the ass. Maybe they try to help with Flash there and maybe Batman, but in general, this is the first time you really get a fleshed out character story, which I'm okay with here. Yeah, who was played by Ron. So the dad is played by Ron Livingston, who's Peter Gibbons from Office Space, which was awesome. That was fun to see. And they've swapped out that character too in all the movies from the past. Not due to race. I don't rate her acting, as you said. There was just no character work done for her for Iris West. I just didn't care. I just didn't give a shit anymore. Oh, hello, Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch. Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch helped me write a script last night for this. She killed it for me. Again, Mrs. Cannoli, I've been trying to do the pre-recorded stuff for 2.5 hours. The camera was buggy. YouTube was trying to strike down stuff. They just don't want footage up. And I literally got to the point, I'm like, I'm just doing a live stream. So there you go. Again, this won't be long. It's Father's Day. I got stuff to do. I just wanted to get my point across. I'm better at live streams anyway. I hate pre-recorded videos. I'm uncomfortable. I'll put this on there, my other channel. So anyway, we get to this point where he's talking to his dad. The dad's trying to appeal. The dad doesn't think the appeal is going to work. Barry Allen's like, well, I have this footage that I have of you in the grocery store when the murder happened. But the problem is it's pixelated, shitty footage. But because he knows Bruce Wayne's a genius. He fixed the footage, but the dad never looks up at the camera. So he's like, you know, this is a waste of time. The dad's trying to tell him to move on. He's like, no, I got to fix this somehow. goes back to the childhood home where he grew up, and Barry Allen's doing this flashback scene of what happened to his mom. Not a bad scene. Again, they're pulling they're pulling from the Flashpoint Paradox animated movie in the comics a lot here, which I think did a much better job. The Flashpoint Paradox movie in an hour and 10, 20 minutes did a much better job. Hello, Mama Totora. Mom Cannoli, Mrs. Mama Cannoli. So I forgot to mention this earlier because I'm moving them 100 miles an hour. At the beginning, when Batman and Barry Allen save Gotham City, which was cool to see Gotham in the daytime, by the way. Of course, you get the cameo, and here's spoilers. Turn your ears off. Turn your ears away if you don't want to hear. Batman gets saved by Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman has a 5-second cameo in this. She looks good. She does look good. 5-second cameo in the movie. The lasso of truth thing was kind of stupid. They used this dumb joke with where she saves Batman with it earlier on, and he's like confessing why he is the way he is because of his parents and his trauma, and then Barry Allen tries to take it off of him. And Barry Allen has this funny line where he's like, well, I know what sex is. I just haven't had it yet. And I'm laughing out loud because it's Ezra Miller. It's like, we know about his history. Something about, I just don't know what it is, but him in this movie just drove me nuts. But it was funny. Anyway, going back. So you have this cool dramatic scene with Ezra Miller's character as Barry Allen, the Flash, reminiscing. So this is where, same thing as Shazam 2. There you go. So what happens here is that Barry Allen gets angry. And I want to, Joker, I'm glad you guys are in the chat with me here because I want to understand something here. There's some continuity issues. Barry Allen starts running really fast because he's angry. He's upset. So he starts running and he creates, if I'm not mistaken, it's a speed. He creates such force with the speed force. He basically travels to a speed bubble where it's this weird like arena of time where he could see the past and he can kind of go in and out of the past. Batman Beyond, MJ, thank you for showing up. Batman Beyond would be a great cameo. This is what they kind of should have did with Keaton's character anyway. They should have made a movie with that with him. So he goes into this speed bubble. And this is the part that drove me crazy, and we caught this writing the script. Now, and if you've seen the Snyder version of the Justice League movie, the 4-hour cut, at the end of that movie, the mother boxes come together, merge, and kill everybody, right? They don't get to it in time. But Barry Allen stops time, and then in that moment says, I have to run faster than the speed of light. I have to push myself further. And he reverses time to save the Justice League to go back to that actual time before the mother boxes exploded. Yet in this movie, he doesn't know his cape. Now, I understand it's an emotional scene here where he's not really thinking clearly. He's just running because he's angry and he's upset about his mom and reliving that moment. But wouldn't you have some awareness at this point? The storytelling would have some awareness that he has this possible capability. He did it before. So even if he doesn't know the full capability of it, he should be aware of it. He should be like, okay, well, this kind of makes sense why I'm here because I did reverse time in the previous storyline. He uses a treadmill to okay. If you were able to travel faster than light, which you can't, but if you could, you would be able to go backwards. Thank you. So this happened in the Justice League Snyder cut. That was one of the big changes, right? Is that the ending was different. And that, they again, Joker, it's surrounded by the Flashpoint story, but no, in general, it does not follow it at all after this point. Somewhat, there's instances of some things, but not all. So anyway, at this point, he goes back and he sees this speed bubble, comes back, and he tells Bruce Wayne. And Bruce Wayne, played by Ben Affleck, he's like, listen, I understand why you want to do this. I appreciate why you want to do this, but it's dangerous. And then Barry Allen's like, yeah, but I can fix things like with this. I can do things here. I can go back and save your parents. And Bruce Wayne's just like, listen, there's a good line here. He says, our tragedies make us what we are. Hey, Ego. Thanks, my man. We're going over the Flash stuff, man. I know you did a live stream on this. I'm just going through my thoughts on this movie. He basically tells Barry Allen, like, our tragedies make us what we are. We are who we are because of those things. We just got to move on and grow from it. And hey, General Vague, what's up, buddy? So basically, at this point, Barry Allen's not listening to him, of course, and Bruce Wayne's telling him, "You can destroy everything. Never mind saving everything. You don't know what you're capable of here. You don't know what could happen." Barry Allen doesn't listen. So, at that point, he does it anyway. He goes back in time. He wants to save his mommy, which I understand. I get it, right? It's an emotional thing. So he goes to the point where his mom is in the supermarket where he gives her the extra can of tomatoes where she doesn't need to go back or get her. The dad doesn't need to leave. So obviously, as this happens and he comes back into reality, or what he thinks is his own reality, everything's changed. Everything has changed at this point. So not to get into too heavy of the plot here, but he basically goes back to his childhood home. Mom's there, dad's there, happy family, happy life, right? Nothing's changed from the past. So he doesn't actually have any memories yet of what happened, but he's just like, wow, this is crazy. And it's weird because he's a little older. He's older now, and the mom recognizes him, but even the dad's like, oh, you look different, but he's away at school and college, supposedly. It's just there's a lot going on here in this part. And then, of course, he runs into himself as a teenager. He sees himself, his younger version of himself, coming home. It's a stupid joke that he makes. Like, he goes, oh, shit. And the mom's like, what's going on? And he goes, oh, I got to take a shit. Because he sees himself outside the window. It was really freaking dumb. But at this point, he meets his young self. And then this is the part of the movie that lost me. Two Ezra Millers on screen together for this long of a period of time. One's bad enough. Two is brutal. It's brutal. Yeah, they shoehorn elements of Injustice 2 and Red Sun. They try to make they try to put a bunch of storylines into one movie. It was really dumb. So basically at this point, just to move on, sorry, I'm babbling on, but just to move on, he basically is trying to explain everything to Barry. Barry's stupid. His younger self is stupid and obnoxious, and even he's like, I don't remember being like this, but sure. And he's trying to tell him, oh shit, by the way, the day that I just arrived in this past timeline, this is the day you're supposed to get your powers now. So we have to go to the lab where your lightning hit, all this shit happens, and then whatever. So they go to this crime lab, and of course, young Barry's being obnoxious because he doesn't want to get hit by lightning. And this whole thing happens, and Barry Allen, the OG Barry Allen, grabs him and is holding him, and then the lightning strikes, hits the chemicals, it goes through both of them. So at this point, the younger Barry Allen now in the past gets the powers, but the OG Barry Allen loses his powers naturally because it passed through him. Hold on, I'm just reading the comments here. Everyone here to watch you Babylon. Sorry. Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I'm just losing my concentration. Isn't it a bad thing to run into yourself in them? Yeah, Hunty, this is a part of the movie that, yes, he was warned multiple times. Do not run into yourself. You don't know what's going to happen. And of course, he does it anyway. We've all seen Back to the Future, which comes into play later. James Gunn said intentionally didn't allow Henry Cavill cameo because his Superman movie was coming. Yes, Henry Cavill is in the movie in a weird CGI space bubble thing, which is fucking stupid. If space-time is deterministic, then no. Yeah. So basically he loses his powers. And this part of the movie is where young Barry Allen, who's really annoying, is trying to learn. He's young and stupid and immature. So he's using his powers. And then they go back to his apartment, young Barry Allen's apartment, where he's in college. And it's just a lot of stupidity happens here. They try to play this up for laughs, where they're having young Barry Allen. He's hungry, right? Because the Speed Force uses up all this energy. He's super hungry, and his clothes are burning off, and he's running through the streets because he's testing his powers out, and he's naked. This is a part where his clothes actually burn off, and he's naked. I don't want to see a naked fucking Ezra Miller. And it was on for a while. Like, it was a longer scene than needed to be. It was just stupid. I get what they were trying to do. It just didn't work. The comedy worked sometimes, but not all the time. This was a time where it was boring. I don't know how, like, this stretch of the movie got really boring for me. It just didn't make sense. And I didn't like it. But anyway, at this point, after he explains to young Barry Allen about what's going on and how he needs to use his powers and how friction works on his clothes and how his abilities he's going to have to relearn his abilities and all this stuff. They're walking through Central City, I believe, where they are, and they see on the TV screen. So basically, they go to a park, and he's trying to show him through his flash ring how to get his suit, because it's a small suit that opens up and turns into a bigger one. So Flash, the younger Barry Allen, now knows how to get into the suit. So after all that's explained, that's all you really need to know as far as the plot at this point. They see people running around frantic, checking their cell phones. So they run to like a bar, and see on the TV Zod. They see, you remember in Man of Steel where they had the ship that came in and all the lights went out and it was dark and Zod came on the TV. That's happening in this timeline. And Zod, you actually see Zod's face now. So Michael Shannon's face, his digital shit face, CGI face, is on the TV now. And he's the same speech. You have one of my citizens. They've been hiding for a long time. Give them to us, and then we'll leave. So Barry Allen, OG, old school Barry Allen, basically at this point is telling him, holy shit, I got to find Superman. He's the only one who stopped him. I got to find the Justice League. But holy shit, I don't know if they exist in this timeline, but let's find out. So he's explaining to Barry Allen who these people are. And when they get to Barry Allen's apartment, young Barry Allen's apartment, he's on the internet looking up information on Clark Kent. Can't find it. Can't find anything on Cyborg. He's looking up Superman. Can't find anything. And he pulls up a Wonder Woman. He looks for Wonder Woman, and it's an old lady in Vegas who does like comedy skits. And it was just really funny. That part was funny. But Barry Allen, young Barry Allen, in this past timeline has these stupid deadbeat roommates who are just dumb, and they're just like hungover, and they get up and they're like, oh, what's going on? It was a stupid attempt at comedy. It just did not work. The scene went on way too long, and it was dumb. But the only good thing about it is, the funny part about it was that this is the part of the movie where they're explaining to the OG Barry Allen about Back to the Future, the movie, and because he's in an alternate timeline, Eric Stoltz played Michael J. Fox's part, and how in Kevin Bacon he wasn't in Footloose but another movie. So all these movies, like classical 80s movies, got changed. Who played what? But Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future, if you don't know that information, Eric Stoltz was the original Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox took that role over later, so that part was funny. But then they mentioned that, hey, he goes, well, is there even a Batman in this timeline? And then Barry, the guy, one of the dumb roommates, goes, yeah, well, there's a Batman. We just don't know who he is, and stuff like that. I'm interested in. He loves Batman. He's a massive Batman fan, so I'm interested. I got to see what he does with a better script and under James Gunn. Now that the Snyderverse is over and all this crap and pre-production stuff is over and the rewrites, I'm interested. I'll give him Boy George was Freddy Krueger, right? It was all these weird things, but the whole thing Back to the Future, he just couldn't get over. So anyway, they find out. So this is the part where we get the nostalgia bait, where they go to a rundown version of Wayne Manor at this point. And Wayne Manor is desolate. The gates are open. It's just rotting and rusted. And it's the house that was from the 1989 movie. So they walk in and they're looking for Bruce Wayne, and they see like wine bottles everywhere, pizza boxes. It's very dark and dreary inside, but there's paintings everywhere, like where Bruce Wayne's been painting on his free time. It just looks desolate. It looks isolated. Alfred's not there at the time. And they go into the kitchen. This is the original kitchen from the 1989 Batman movie, where, if you remember the scene with Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne are having dinner with Alfred, it's the same exact house. So they did a great job there. And then you get this really weird scene where Bruce Wayne comes out of a cupboard, and you don't see his face right away. He's got long hair, but you know who it is. You just don't see his face. They don't show his face. And he's beating the shit out of Barry Allen. Barry Allen, who doesn't have his powers anymore, is getting hit with wine bottles, broomsticks. Bruce Wayne's doing ninja stuff in the kitchen, throwing pots. It's really funny because it didn't work. The comedy here did not work. It was a really weird attempt to bring Bruce Wayne back. I know they wanted to make him this eccentric, kind of downtrodden Bruce Wayne, where he's not needed anymore and just kind of isolated and weird. And I don't know. It just didn't work. Writing in this scene was bad, but we do get Bruce Wayne finally stopped, and Barry Allen's explaining to him what's going on here, why they're here, what he did. And Bruce Wayne's listening to him, though. He's giving him the benefit of the doubt. So while he's making pasta and spaghetti sauce, he's explaining to Barry Allen about time. He's like, oh, you're trying to do this with time, and time is linear, and this and that, and multiverse stuff. And so Bruce Wayne's a smart guy, right? He's a genius. He understands it. And he's telling, at the very end, he's using pasta as a means of this, like putting on like a visual display of how timelines work. And he's basically telling him it's a multiverse you created with your Speed Force powers probably, and it's a disaster. They never work out well. The way time works, things just at certain timelines are just things are the way that they are. So the way things turn out is because of it. It's a really, really interesting scene as far as how he tries to explain how time works. I never noticed it. Sorry, Dempsey. I never noticed when I was a kid just how extremely grapey Bruce Wayne was until the night. Yeah. Well, yeah. It looks worse here. He's older, obviously, but yeah. So basically, at this point, Bruce Wayne's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to help you." He's like, "Well, you're our strategist. You're my best friend in our last timeline. You helped me through everything. You helped the Justice League. You're the leader." He's like, "Yeah, there's no need for me anymore. In this version of Gotham City, everything's safe. It's one of the safest cities in the world. I just haven't been around. I haven't needed to be Batman for a long time." So he's like, "I'll pass, but good luck." So of course, with these abilities that the new Barry Allen has, there's this vibration thing that the Flash can do where he can go through walls and floors and stuff. Hold on. They had a great opportunity to do original Flashpoint movie with Gal and Jason. Yes, going against each other. Yes. Jeffrey D. Morgan is Thomas Wayne. The Flashpoint Paradox was fantastic as a movie. Animated movie did it right. And yeah, they had an opportunity here. Yeah, they did. Joker was right. Yeah, you're no kidding, buddy. So anyway, at this point, he vibrates his way into the Batcave, and of course gets the other Barry Allen in, and they're in the old school Batcave. And this part was cool because you see the old Batmobile. He turns on the lights. The old Batmobile is just laying there covered up. It's the original Batcave from the actual 1989-91 movies with Batman and Batman Returns. So that was cool. Nostalgia. You get the Bat theme, the Batman theme, Danny Elfman theme in the background. So again, as a kid, my inner child is like, holy shit, this is awesome. This is great. I love this. And then of course, since Bruce Wayne is Bruce Wayne, Barry Allen's tapping into his computer where he has access to government files and stuff. He's looking for any information about Superman and the ship landing in Kansas back when it did, to find him. So he can't find any information. He gets pissed off at the younger Barry Allen because he's being obnoxious and he's trying to tell him the stakes. And then since Bruce Wayne is Bruce Wayne, he's surveilling the Batcave. So while Barry Allen broke in and is using his computer, he sees everything that's going on. In this scene here, he tries to appeal to Bruce Wayne by telling him, hey, you know what? You lost Alfred, right? Because Alfred at this timeline from the 89 movie is dead because it's been a long time. He's passed on. He's like, I know you lost your parents. I know you lost Alfred. You've lost people. So I can appeal to you this way by saying, I think I found a way to bring my mom back. I have an opportunity. Wouldn't you want to do that for your parents? And he's basically saying, like, people are just fated to be together, and even in different timelines. Certain people are just fated to be together. He believes his mom is fated to be around, so this is what he appeals to him. So he falls asleep, Barry Allen, and wakes up with a government file on I think it was a base in Siberia or Russia where they're hiding an alien that crash landed on Earth so many years ago. Let me just read the chat real quick here. I like Jeffrey D. Morgan would have been awesome. Yeah. I like the way they skipped his haircut. They didn't do a good job with the wig. Yeah. I feel like this movie was like Spider-Man 1 using nostalgia to try kind of. But at least, the Spider-Man No Way Home, which we're doing on our show tomorrow, did it right. They did it well. I'm not saying it was a perfect movie, No Way Home, but they did do it right. The nostalgia was done properly. Here, it was just nostalgia to be nostalgia. It had no consequence on the outcome, where No Way Home, it actually helped Peter Parker grow and actually had a big impact on the outcome. So this is where you get the Batman. Michael Keaton comes out in his suit, theme playing. And then, Barry Allen's like, oh, you're so-and-so. And he's like, yeah, I'm Batman. He says the line, I'm Batman. Nostalgia overload. It was great. No, he will not be in that chat. No, we have a good panel for that one. I'm going to shout that out on Twitter after this show for tomorrow, but we're going to talk about that. So at this point, though, the movie's not doing anything for me. Michael Keaton being there is a bonus, but I'm actually bored during this whole time. And it's just, I don't know, man. Like you could tell with the reshoots, you could see where it went through production hell. There was a lot of problems here. The plot's all over the place. I don't know. The directing wasn't perfect. It's just weird. So at this point, you get Batman to help, and he gets in the Batwing, and it's pretty cool. He's in the Batwing. He's flying them to Russia. They get to Russia. They get to this place. I'll kind of speed through here because really not much happens for a while. They speed through to get to Russia to this platform, to this base, and they get to this lower layer. Now, this is another part they took from the Flashpoint paradox, where you know how when they found Superman, he was like really skinny and distraught looking and pale because they kept him in this enclosure with the red lights because you know he can't handle red light or the red sun or something with the red radiation that keeps his powers down. So they basically open. So Batman kicks ass in this scene. This is one thing I liked about this scene. You see 89 Batman do the things that we wish we would have seen him done back then. They have the technology now and the stunt people to do this. So he's kicking ass. He gets everybody in fucking worked up. He's beating, he's drop kicking people. He's using his ninja skills. He's punching people. It was fantastic. And in the meantime, Barry Allen, young Barry Allen with his new powers is maneuvering the OG Barry Allen, who has no powers, around away from bullets being shot at him when they're caught. And of course, he throws up, and this is where you get the explanation. You know, that whole you can't touch human beings because you can make them sick or kill them. Lynx has spoken. Yeah, let's get nuts. Yeah, let's get nuts. No, it was a terrible line. It was just a throwback line. So anyway, at this point, they find a woman in the cell. So obviously, this is not Kal-El. What is her name again? It is Kara Zor-El. So they find Kara Zor-El. At the time, they don't know who she is. She's in this dark room. They take her because they want to rescue her, and they grab her Supergirl suit, and they don't really know what it is. So they basically get out, rescue her, bring her back to Wayne Manor. And at this point, she wakes up and is like, "Who are you people?" And here's where we get the explanation of who she was, why she's in his place. And I will say one thing, Supergirl did not annoy me in this movie. It wasn't overdone. They actually did a pretty good job of not making it like no messaging, no woke bullshit, no feminist bullshit. She actually talks about how she revered her cousin, which is Kal-El, and how they grew up together, they were cousins, and how they were both sent to Earth to save things. Not poorly done. She wasn't in the movie nearly long enough. This is one of the plot points issues that I had, is that they wasted her character completely. But she wasn't bad. Sasha Callie, I believe her name is, not bad. Wasn't a terrible addition. Not as bad as I initially thought it would be. So she didn't annoy me. She was actually pretty good. But the problem is it was just in such a short span of time. Like, you know, they bring her to the roof for Wayne Manor to gain her powers back, trying to explain to her what's going on. She wears the suit. And like, you know how in Man of Steel, he took a while to learn his powers, where she's, you know, that scene where he can hear and see everything and he's kind of getting distraught, Superman. They do that with her in like 30 seconds. And all of a sudden she has her abilities. I fucking hate when plot convenience points here, where they just push everything along. It was so stupid. I wouldn't mind Sasha. She is not bad looking. Of course, they made her a little uglier because of her stupid haircut that they gave her. Not a bad looking girl. I wouldn't mind. How would I rate the movie from 1 to 10? Oh, I'm getting to that point. She's not a bad looking girl, no, Dempsey. I don't think I would mind a movie with her and just her, as long as they don't push this feminist agenda shit, which I have a problem. I think they would. Like, we don't need Superman. In this movie, they did not do that, but I'm saying. So anyway, she gets her abilities back. She doesn't want to help the human race because they kept her in captivity, naturally. Then she goes to see Zod in the open desert, who starts the war because the U.S. Army couldn't bring the alien that he was requesting because they don't know where she is. They really didn't know where she was or who she was, right? So then the war starts between the Kryptonian fucking soldiers and the army, and then out of nowhere she goes back to Wayne Manor and is like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Why did you help me?" And the Flash is like, well, you needed help. Not all human beings are bad. You needed help. All this bullshit. She goes, oh, okay, now I'm going to help you. I'm like, oh my God. So in the meantime, another point they pulled from the Flashpoint paradox is the original Flash wanted to get his powers back. So Bruce Wayne helps him, putting him in the electric chair. He just miraculously has all the right chemicals and stuff that he needs to reenact this lightning strike. So they reenact it. It doesn't work. And that happened in the animated movie too. The difference was in the animated movie, they redid the whole sequence over again with Thomas Wayne. Here, Supergirl comes back, brings him up into the sky, and he gets hit by lightning, comes back, and he's miraculously the Flash again. I did not like that scene at all. Thought it was messy. It was a plot convenience that Supergirl just happened to come back to help. And she was, since she's Supergirl, can't get hurt by lightning, and it was just dumb. What's up with Gal Gadot doing cameos in every movie? I mean, come on, bro. Why don't we just rest? Yeah, that's all they can do. And she's done as Wonder Woman at this point. But I agree. Her second movie failed, 1984 Wonder Woman, and then they had to do this. So all she does is catch. She's probably getting paid damn well. Every little bit of feminism isn't a bit. No, I don't mind a little bit of it. These days it's so heavy-handed. It would be accurate to include some of it if you are back in time. The problem is the vast amounts of being exactly. The problem is they would make a Supergirl movie for this current day, and then it would be a mess. That Gal Gadot cameo overload is weird. Yeah, she was in a lot. Yeah, she should have just completely yeeted him in the sky. Yeah, Aquaman 2 should sell towels and sea covers as a female ticket. Yeah, which is stupid because we'll get to Jason Momoa at the end of this movie. Oh my God. So anyway, they basically everybody's got their powers back. Everybody's together. Batman's like, all right, let's get nuts. This is the scene where you get that. Let's get nuts. You want to get nuts? Let's get. Really oddly placed. I didn't love the actual line in the original movie. That was bad writing. I get it. It's nostalgia. Fine. But cool. Whatever. So they go to the land of the desert where the fight's happening. And then basically it's just a big battle going on here. Kara Zor-El basically confronts Zod, which is digital Michael Shannon face, and his sidekick chick, Fiora. It's all digital. You could tell. It's somebody else's body in his head. It looked fucking weird. It was so out of place. It made no sense. The problem with modern feminism is when they have to reduce men in order to make their point. Yes, I completely agree. You want to get nuts, hand him a bowl of salted peanuts. Yeah. So at this point, I agree. My wife is the same way. Most intelligent, strong women that I know are not with this stuff because they don't need it. So at this point, the fight happens. Kara Zor-El fights. So this is the part where Zod was wasted in this fucking movie too. In this timeline, it was stupid. It really didn't make any sense. It was just a plot convenience to bring him back from the Man of Steel to just help with the storyline. So Kara Zor-El is like, "What are you here for?" And then of course we get back to we need the Codex. Remember Man of Steel? He needed Superman's DNA. We need the Codex and we're going to rebuild Krypton and the world building engines are starting and same shit. So Kara Zor-El comes to find out here that Superman as a baby, his pod was intercepted by Zod's army. And they tried to get the DNA from him, but he didn't have it. So Kara Zor-El's like, what happened to him though? He never made it to Earth, basically. They killed Superman in this timeline when he was a baby. She gets pissed off, goes on a rampage, and starts beating the shit out of Zod. So this fighting ensues. The two Flashes are trying to work together to fucking save things, and there's just a big war battle going on. So what happens is that in this timeline, though, they lose. So this is a big spoiler. They lose in this timeline. They get killed. Supergirl gets killed. Batman gets killed. So all the good people die. And then the younger Flash can't accept this. He goes, well, shit, if you can go back in time to the speed bubble, I can do it and I can go back and change it. And he keeps going back and trying to rechange things. And each time, everybody keeps dying in different ways. And then Michael Keaton finally passes away and he's like, thanks for bringing me back. I appreciate it. I hope this works out. And he dies. It was fucking just really bad. CGI was awful in these scenes. You could tell where Barry Allen, where they took his face, digitally imprinted it onto somebody else's body for the body doubling thing, because he had it was him and it was two Barry Allen. Oh my god, it just made no sense. The action sequences were somewhat done okay, but it just the whole plot was a fucking mess. It was convoluted, and they try to push all these storylines from all these different projects into one movie. It was just dumb. And at this point, I'm just checking my watch, going, "When is this over?" Because I just can't take this anymore. So basically, at this point, this is where the Flashpoint paradox comes in back in, because young Barry Allen goes back into the speed bubble with the OG Barry Allen, and the OG Barry Allen's basically telling him, "We have to stop. I'm realizing now we have to stop, because all we're doing is creating more problems. These people don't live. I have to go back and change what I did with mom. Unfortunately, I have to let her go, and she just has to die because." And then that's where that foreshadowing comes in. Remember that scene when he was young and the mom said, "Not every problem has a solution." He tells that to the young Barry Allen. He's like, "Not every problem." Young Barry Allen can't accept it. Now, during his time in the speed bubble, but when Barry Allen was testing this out at the beginning, there was a weird apparition or figure that was following him that he saw in the speed bubble. It was this weird, I don't know what the hell, I can't really explain it. It was like this weird figure that was following him, and he didn't understand what it was. It wasn't explained until the very end. So the beginning of the movie, they show this apparition following him in the speed bubble. He's aware of it, that this thing or this entity is following him, but it's never explained again until like another hour and a half into the movie. It was really stupid, and they just shoehorned this in. So what happened is that the young Barry Allen tried to change the past so many times so Batman and Supergirl don't die, that he turned into this reverse Flash figure. It's not the actual reverse Flash. They don't say the name, but if you read the comics or know the animated movie, The Flashpoint Paradox, that's exactly what it is. He's reverse Flash. He's evil. He's not evil, but he's trying to stop OG Barry Allen from stopping him to go back. So he's got like all these weird, how do I say it? Like in the battle scene in the desert, he kept getting stabbed by the Kryptonian soldiers with their weapons, and it kept attaching to him. So he's basically been at the timeline change. The young Barry Allen's trying to go back to save Batman and Supergirl so many times that he actually is so old that he's like decrepit looking. He's got all this shit all over him, and he's got gray hair. And even Barry Allen's like, "How long have you been at this?" And he's like, "A long time." He's like, "I almost got it figured out. I'm not letting you stop me. I'm going to." So he's basically the reverse Flash, which was the stupidest shoehorn thing I've ever seen. They didn't explain this throughout the whole movie until the very end. I got $20 saying, "Mrs. you'd be able to take any feminist chick." Yes, you would. It sounds like they should have just made an anime. I agree. With so much reused dialogue and visuals, how did this cost? Because of that. Because they had to do so many reshoots and get the actors back and repay them, and then it was just a mess. I'm glad you're doing a morning stream like literally nobody else does. Yeah, I'm just doing a typical quick one, just to kind of get my thoughts out. I was going to do a pre-recorded video on this. It was a mess. So I might cut this and put it up, but whatever. Anime, yeah, I agree. So basically at this point, so the reverse Flash Barry Allen is about to kill OG Barry Allen because he wants him to stop. He doesn't want to stop trying to fix the past in his timeline. And then the young Barry Allen steps in front of the OG Barry Allen from getting killed by the reverse Flash Barry Allen. It's a fucking mess. I'm telling you, this is confusing to you. It's confusing to me too. And I just saw the movie. So because young Barry Allen dies, the reverse Flash dies. So they kill each other off, which is weird to me because if I always understood if you kill the past version of yourself, remember in Back to the Future, then the future self doesn't exist anymore. So again, they're messing with this weird time continuum thing. It's fucking weird. So anyway, he basically goes back to the mom's timeline, his original timeline, where he saved his mom's life by putting the extra can of tomatoes in. This part, I will say, was done well. Yeah, this part was done okay. I will say there were some emotional parts in this movie that worked. This was a sad scene where he goes back, sees his mom in the grocery store. Now, this is when Barry Allen was a kid, was a boy, the day his mom got killed. He goes to the grocery store and he's talking to his mom. He's wearing like a kind of a disguise, and he's talking to his mom about, hey, um, whatever cereal you're picking out for your son. I used to love that cereal, and you must be a really good mother. And my mom, I'm gonna miss her, and I wish that she was around more. And it's this kind of tender scene, and it's played up for emotion, and it does a pretty decent job actually. It's the one part of the movie I didn't hate. I was like, okay, they did a decent job here. Because you could feel the pain. Anybody who's had a mother or a loss of a parent or a loved one, you kind of get this. This was actually well written. So he basically says goodbye to his mom for the last time, puts the can of tomatoes back on the shelf, realizing where he is though in this past timeline, says, "Hey, I'm going to move the can of tomatoes from the middle shelf to the top shelf." Keep that in mind. So when he goes back to his original timeline he came from before he did all the speed bubble shit. He's back in his original timeline. Then he goes to his dad's appeal, right? He's like, I'm back. Iris leaves a note for him saying, hey, I didn't know when you were, if you were going to be around, call me, we'll go, whatever. So they go back to the court during his appeal. Well, miraculously, because the Flash changed this one part of the timeline with the cans, his dad's appeal goes well because he looks up at the camera now because Barry Allen changed the timeline with the can of tomatoes. So he is vindicated here. He's exonerated. The case goes his way, and he is released because of the new footage. Awesome. Okay, but if we remember anything from what happened in the past timelines when he went back, if you change anything, something gets screwed up. So after the case is over, his dad gets off. He sees Iris West. Iris West is being very forward. Hey, you should ask me out. Okay, cool. Get her character out. So she leaves. Then Bruce Wayne calls him. Bruce Wayne's on the phone going, and he's like, hey, Bruce, hey, listen, I did all this stuff and I fixed it in the timeline. You told me not to do it, but I fixed it and everything's good now. And, everything's good now. And everything's cool. I did it, but you told me not to, but it's all good now. It's all good. He's like, all right, cool. I'm pulling up right now. And then you get the cameo, a special cameo. You think it's going to be Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne that's coming up. Oh my God. So because he fucked with the timeline, you see George Clooney get out of the car as Bruce Wayne. And he goes, wait, you're not Batman, to him. And he's like, what? And then George Clooney goes, what are you talking about? Now, this is part of the cameo part I left out of the story. This is going to be the end. So so when the Reverse Flash, young Barry Allen and OG Barry Allen are in this speed bubble, the worlds are colliding. Remember George Costanza? Worlds are colliding. Because they're fucking up the timeline so much, the worlds are actually colliding with each other. This is where you get the worst, shittiest cameo appearances and nostalgia, supposed nostalgia bait I have ever seen in a movie. So because these timelines are merging in each other, they bring in Christopher Reeves. They bring in the girl who played Supergirl from that timeline. Old school Superman from the 1950s show. I forgot what his name was exactly. Let's see. So you have George Reeves, Christopher Reeves, Helen Slater is Supergirl, Adam West is Batman. They show all this looking in at the speed bubble. Fucking horrendous CGI, by the way. The worst CGI I've ever seen. And I get this, the director is saying, well, you're looking at the CGI. This way it looks bad is because you're seeing it through the eyes of Barry Allen through the Speed Force. Now, your fucking movie sucks. Your movie sucks. Your CGI sucks. Nobody wants to see that. Because, through the Speed Force, everything looks weird and odd because the time travel shit. It's like, no. You just misused all $400 million of your production budget here. It's just terrible. I don't like this. Please stop. And so, let me see. One thing I liked about the old flashback was that every time he popped into the bubble, it was more and more deformed damage due to the extra fight. Yeah. Grandfather paradox. If you kill your G-father, you won't exist in the future to go back. So you wouldn't have killed him. So you would have existed to go back. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you're very right. So at this point, with the flashbacks, you see, you see Nicolas Cage fighting a giant spider as his Superman. Bad CGI. Christopher Reeves looked horrendous. It was bad. Henry Cavill was only in the speed bubble at the very beginning of the movie because he was remembering what happened in the Justice League movie when they all fought him when he came back. That was it. That was basically it. Yeah, and then they did the old Flash, the older Flash, Teddy Sears, who played Flash. So the cameos and the flashbacks were fucking horrendous. Just bad. Like and the disrespect to Christopher Reeves here. Oh my god, who allowed this to happen? It was just so bad. Maybe CGI sucks because they want to get over this. Yeah, I think it was just because it was a rush. It's funny because this has been in production for years. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So George Clooney is the last cameo at the very end of the movie. And so because he fucked with the timeline now, it's like, and then we're not going to know what's going to happen unless they announce something. And then the after credit scene is a fat Jason Momoa being told by Barry Allen what happened and how he saved everything. And Jason Momoa was drunk. His Aquaman is drunk and he's falling all over himself. And it was just fucking stupid. And it's like an introduction into the next Aquaman. It was not funny. It was not funny at all. It was written poorly. It was dumb. Jason Momoa looked like he put on 50 pounds. And it was just, he just collected a paycheck at this point. So my major takeaways from this movie were it had potential. I'm going to get to the end of this here. It had potential. It started off okay and just went off the fucking deep end. You get some character development, finally, from a DC movie, a Snyderverse DC movie. You get character development. Ezra Miller is obnoxious. I can't stand him in this role. Take all his personal shit aside. Push that away. As an actor, I don't know much. I mean, I've been told that he's actually a decent actor. He's been in other movies I haven't seen. So fine. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there for people I trust. Fine. I just can't stand his Flash character. He's not the Flash. The writing is bad. Yeah, the member berries aspect of it was fine, but it's not okay to resurrect these people with CGI. It was just such an embarrassment. This is how you bring Christopher. I would rather have them been having little subtle things throughout the movie. I know they wanted to do this big culmination at the end with all these characters that were supposedly supposed to be Superman or were Superman in one big thing. It's just the writing of this movie was so bad and the story was so stupid at points. This is how they figured they would do this. They would shoehorn it in. So anyway, Barry Allen was bad. Iris was bad. The villains were stupid. Seeing Michael Keaton was cool, but he had no bearing on the outcome of the movie. Some would argue that the movie got derailed by him coming into the movie. Again, you got to. I'm not saying go watch the list. I hate, this thing about you got to know the comic books. General audience is not going to know all this stuff. They're not going to know about the Flashpoint Paradox movie. They're not going to know about the comic book. So I get it. If you're going at it from that, just face value, it's a mess. Having watched the Flashpoint Paradox and knowing some history on the comic books here and what they were trying to do with, like Joker's voice said, with Red Sun and Injustice and Supergirl, it was poorly done. Yeah, so from what I understand, he's not a bad actor. He's just a lunatic in real life. I would have been nicer to see them blurred out with his legs. Jesus Christ. Yeah, fine. Something, or maybe in the background there's a Superman movie with him on, or just something different. I don't know, but you're talking about these people in Hollywood now who have no imagination. They can't come up with any of this stuff. This is the best they could do. So overall, I would say this movie is a waste of time. It was a waste of my. I liked parts of it. I'm not going to completely destroy the movie and give it like a 2 out of 10. I'm giving it a mid rating of 5 out of 10 cannolis. I will say, if you have not seen this, wait for it to hit HBO Max or whatever the hell it is, or rent it. It's an okay movie or a basic average movie. 6 would be like, okay, it's kind of worth seeing. It's not bad. 5 is like, so I am going to give it a 5. Yeah, in the comics, yeah. Thank you, Feelings. Yeah, so that was basically my review. I know it was kind of a messy review. I'm all over the place here, but I had to get my thoughts out. I didn't want to wait to do a pre-recorded video. Yeah, it sounds like to me they would have been better off just hired a drinker for 1 million. Yeah, anybody else. Seriously. So look out for other people's reviews. I know Vex Electronica's got a review coming out on this soon. YouTube is doing a very heavy-handed thing right now where they're striking down footage or memes. It's something weird's going on with their algorithm. So a lot of people like Movie Cynic, Little Platoon, Vex Electronica have been saying that on social media, especially, that they're not they're not able to get this out right away yet because YouTube is being a pain in the ass. Actually, Andrew's been having trouble. So I hope they can get their stuff through soon. I wanted to do this instead. I prefer animated movies too. So that's basically it. I know, like I said, it's tough to kind of go through this whole movie. There's a lot going on. I hope I kind of made sense of the whole thing for you guys. Again, if you're watching, smash the like button here. It's basically like that. I'm probably going to move some of this stuff over into some of my chat here into my pre-recorded stuff on my other channel, the Cannoli Catalog. Some of that stuff is just hell Platoon. Platoon's the man. So that's basically it. I'm going to let everybody go for the Father's Day. If you're celebrating, if you're not, either way, it's Sunday. I don't want to keep you. I'm doing an early live stream to talk about this movie. This movie sucks. It's terrible. Ezra Miller's terrible. Michael Keaton was okay. He was only in it 15 minutes. Supergirl's only in it for like 10 minutes. Zod's in it for a short period of time. They threw all this stuff in and it was a mess. CGI was terrible. Wait to see it until it's available on rental or at least on the Max channel if you have that. And then thank you, Angry Mexico. Hey, anybody who's a dad out there, congratulations, man. Happy Father's Day. I'm gonna go celebrate myself now. I really appreciate everybody coming in who did for this quick live stream. We've been over an hour. Thank you. Appreciate it. And that's basically it. I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I love you all. Tomorrow on Mischief Mayhem Movie, we are doing Spider-Man No Way Home. I have a great panel. Bagface, actually Andrew, Shield Wall of Dragons, maybe the movie Cynic, and some others. And of course, the regular crew. And Copa will not be there because he's got family in town. But we got a great cast of characters coming in for No Way Home tomorrow, 6:05 p.m. Pacific time. Be there for that. I'm going to head out, enjoy my Father's Day. I'll see you all later. Love you all. Bye.